And here we are on Abyssal City, and in the top left-hand corner, we have our pink Terran player from the team compLexity. It is Trimaster, and his opponent in the lower right-hand corner, sporting the tag FXO Straylock. We must be playing on the NA server. It is, in fact, FXO's Minato, our yellow Zerg.
All right, so kicking things off here, it's Abyssal City. Very, very large two-player map. And, you know, I just like large maps when I'm a Zerg player, but Terrans have found some really, really cool things to do with this map. It's not one of the best maps for drops, but when you're going for these pushes, wow, tank positioning can just be so beneficial for you. You can get into really, really interesting places on ledges and things like that. And, well, we'll see if Trimaster decides to utilize that strength of this map a little towards his favor.
That's pretty sweet, though, Minato saying go yellow power of FXO. All right, so let's see here what what Trimaster is going to be up to. This is a very good map for proxy barracks. If you decide to go down that route, a lot of paths you can take that are outside of the vision of the Xel'Naga Towers. Looks like in this case we're just going to have a 12 racks inside of the base. Nothing out of the ordinary. Probably a 1 racks gasless fast expand, and we'll see how he follows that up. Now, Minato probably opening with a 15 hatch. Yeah, there's the drone actually heading down to do exactly that. This is one of those maps that because it's so big, you can go for the faster third base. Hellions can definitely make it across the map very quickly, and that can make it a little more dangerous. But Hellions are really, really bad at killing structures. And so if you get out there nice and early with your drone, you can secure that third. And, man, if they go for like a marine timing or anything, you have a lot of time to react to it. And so you can probably hold that their third base down. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we do see that out of Minato, but it definitely doesn't mean you have to. It's a nice open available option on Abyssal City. Yeah, for sure. And Trimaster is actually going for gas now. So we've seen a few players have actually done this, the later 16 gas. And we'll see how he wants to follow this up. You can still get a pretty quick expansion behind this, but then you don't set behind your tech all that long. You can still go up for that factory, get that reactor at about the right time. Yep. Back on Minato's side of things, though, we'll see if he decides to completely bypass gas, and it looks like he indeed is saving up now for a couple of additional queens. Going to get those started nice and early, going with the 4-queen build. Of course, the Korean Zerg players, that's been basically fallen out of favor. They are definitely getting gas, prioritizing out that Zergling speed. Now, Minato just managed to excuse me, he did manage to see the command center go down, but he saw it a little bit later. Trimaster did a good job of pushing that Overlord back, but the timing of the CC here, he can tell that this is late. And so we might, you mentioned the speed earlier and how we've been seeing a lot of Korean Zergs go for this, and maybe, it hasn't translated across boundaries quite yet, but we should be seeing something out of them, whether it be roaches or a lot of queens, in order to deal with the imminent, what should be, Hellions. All right. Well, I mean, 4 queens was very good at holding that off. In fact, that's why it got so popular for a while, is because you didn't have to rely on a ton of structures or anything unnecessary that you had to waste your resources on. You could just get queens, which served a lot of utility, and then we saw Zerg players really just diving further and further into creep spread. So after the 4 queens are started, or I guess the second set of 2 queens is started, immediate 2 gas drop down now for Minato. I want to see how much Trimaster saw. Yeah, he actually, he didn't see the top gas. He only saw 1 of those. Right, and he also saw that it wasn't taken when he first came in, so that could be quite misleading. Minato is going to be, of course, on 2 of those. Now, that's an Overlord headed down to the third. I was like, he shouldn't be going for the third that fast with 2 gases. More queens popping out right now. That's going to facilitate some creep spread, and it's not actually Hellions that's coming out of Trimaster here. Well, okay, he actually is going for them, but he's following it up this is an entire Hellion Banshee build, in fact, which is pretty good here versus Minato's opening. Yeah, I mean, it's going to serve some good utility, especially if Minato decides to take that earlier third and then doesn't have the queens in order to support it, because the Hellions with the additional DPS of the Banshee will be able to shoot that down very quickly, in any reinforcing units. It'll pick them off 1 by 1. But there is certainly a possibility that Minato's going to go for the style that we've been seeing out of Linux so often, which is prioritizing that earlier tech, getting that layer up and going very quickly. We see that there's a lot of gas saved up, and it could actually hit sometime soon. With the double evolution chambers too, he has the potential to actually invest in double upgrades at the same time he goes for layer and possibly even a third base. Yeah, Minato, I mean, he's going to have, just enough here, in fact, starting up that layer, as you said. And behind this, we'll see. The Hellions are coming in now. He does have a complete wall off with these queens, which is really, really nice. but it's going to be very difficult for Minato to grab a third base. So a lot of it's going to come down to this 2-base, but if he goes for a 2-base Muta play here, Kev, it is very strong versus the Hellion Banshee opening, and Trimaster is even going for Cloak right now.
So this is kind of a rough situation for Trimaster at the start because Minato is doing everything designed to deflect early attacks. Looks like those Banshees are now flying out across the map. We'll see what they can get in and do.
This macro hatch is making it look more and more like Minato might be going for that Muta play, and if he does, I mean, he's going for the ground upgrade, so it will slow it down and make it a little less, you know, Muta heavy, but there's not going to be a lot of anti-air on the field for Trimaster.
Yeah, and that Banshee, which provides almost all the DPS of this attack, because the Hellions can't just move in and try and kill 4 queens. It's not going to happen. Was it just immediately picked off? It did almost nothing.
And Cloak now kicks in, so that's going to be so useful. By the way, we've got Minato going for Burrowed and Festers, in fact, here, Kevin, which is equally as dangerous when your opponent doesn't have an engineering bay.
2-base Burrowed and Fester. Very creative stuff. Trimaster following this up with a 3rd command center. He's actually building it at the 3rd, so that could actually be shut down very quickly. These Zerglings are actually just heading straight into Trimaster's side of the map. If any of them head down towards the bottom left, that's going to necessitate a cancel here.
Yeah,
there's really just no way that he can defend against that.
This is really cute out of Minato. Using these Lings, you know, they're not really any use against the Hellions, so hey, let's kill him in his base, killing off a ton of SCVs right now, in fact.
Yeah, that actually worked pretty well and killed a few Hellions at the same time.
And taking a look down at the 3rd, I mean, he's going to be taking this out. The Hellion's going to try to come down and deny it, but now there's Lings that are slipping into the main base, I believe. Unless they did. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, and killed a few additional SCVs.
Oh, man.
I'm a little surprised that he only sent 4 Zerglings down here because a few, even just 2 or 3 more, and he would have had enough DPS to take those out.
Definitely. But now Trimaster is so concerned with everything else. One of the last things that's probably going to be on his mind here is, I need to worry about a Bird and Fester play. I will be very surprised if we see the Trimaster. I'll be impressed if Trimaster has the sense and game sense right now to keep on his mind, this is about the timing that this build would hit, and remember to build that eBay.
And we're not trying to count Trimaster out already. I mean, with the Overseer overhead, it's going to be difficult for him to get anything done with that, and he loses all of his Hellions. Oh, man, another attack goes down. Things are very, very rough for him at the moment.
Definitely. I mean, letting all those Hellions get surrounded is just another huge blow to Trimaster. You know, he pinned Minato down at the beginning and had him on, you know, these 2 bases and had him kind of contained. Lost that Hellion, which wasn't so good, or the Banshee, excuse me, but, you know, he's got 3 bases, so he was in an all right spot.
What a weird build from Minato, though. We have 2-base Hive Tech. The 3rd's only just now coming up. He produced 5 or 7 Infestors, 5 Infestors with no Pathogen Glands. He hasn't started those at all. 2/2 upgrades are on the way now, and his Hive is about 90% completed at the 1130 mark.
Yeah, well, the Pathogen Glands, you know, he intends to burrow and cross the map with these, so they'll have plenty of time to build up the energy. It's more, here the Infested Terran's going down because he does see that there's a missile turret there. He's going to be trying to do what he can, but not enough detection. Same time, 3rd base. Oh, man, Kevin.
Yeah.
He's taking a lot of damage right now.
Yes, he has been. Looks like these Infested Terrans are trying to get through to pick off a couple of workers. Now they'll be able to snag a couple, get a Marine on the high ground too, and that's going to be pretty much all the damage that those can do. But the Zerglings have more than done their damage. This Orbital Command lifted off at exactly 500 hit points. Underneath that, it actually would have been lit on fire. And the supply depots are just all being shredded up at the front.
Yeah, this is just too much damage, and as you said, it's an unconventional build, but Minato is definitely making it work. I mean, he went for a super fast Hive behind this. Like, he hasn't even started mining this 3rd base. He's just now transferring drones down there. And yet, we have an Ultralisk Cavern about to complete.
Yeah, no kidding.
And 2/2's halfway done.
How weird is this? It's very cool stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'm really enjoying it. It's fun to watch, but it's still definitely very, very strange.
All right, well, Minato losing his Infested Terrans. That's not going to hurt him at all. And now he's going to drop a couple more, deny mining at this 3rd base for an ever-increasing amount of time. In fact, now he causes it to burn.
Yeah, he just wanted to light these on fire, force any sort of SCVs to come back and repair them, because look at this, it moves it away. I mean, even if this is probably going to survive, but even so, it's so long before it's going to be able to make its way back out over here.
Minato looking incredibly strong right now. His 3rd base is mining. He's making Ultralisks. He's going to have 2/2 and the chitinous plating and Adrenal Gland. Everything you want as a Zerg except 3/3, basically. For this stage of the game of a ZVT, Minato's going to have it. And Trimaster, on the other hand, let's not get started on that.
Yeah, and he's not repairing up this orbital command. There we go. Finally gets it down, and so that's not going to light itself on fire. But how many workers are left after all of this? 39 SCVs to 61 drones, and the 61 drones are proving to be enough at this stage of the game to support Ultralisks.
Let's see if we can not count Trimaster out by checking his upgrades.
I think he has 2-2 done. Complete? I think he does. No, just 1-1.
That's devastating. There's not too much he's going to be able to do to hold this off. Maybe if he had 2-2, have a chance. But, I mean, now he's against a Zerg player who's up in supply, has upgrades.
There is a potential here that because of the siege tank positioning, that the that Minato is just going to kind of throw his units into a meat grinder here. So let's see if the siege tanks are going to be enough. That's a lot of Ultralisks doing a considerable amount of damage. And unfortunately for Trimaster, he just doesn't have a whole lot to stop this.
Yep, there's nothing here to absorb shots, so it's all SCVs that are going down. Even if there was one Marine kiting. Oh, that command center getting so low.
Yeah, he tucked him in the back to try and save those workers, but...
That was cool, yeah.
Yeah,
unfortunately... Like they could have repaired from behind.
Yeah, actually, that actually could have worked out, but... in any case, now Trimaster is once again down a command center. He's, or not down, he didn't lose this one, but it's not really making much of use of anything. 45 workers have been killed.
Oh, goodness.
It's 21 SEVs to 65 drones, a fourth base being constructed for Minato in the middle of the map.
Yeah, 150 supply to 60. Trimaster, I mean, he's doing a great job holding on here. Let's definitely point that out.
Oh, yeah.
He just held off that push, which had 4 2-2 Ultras with chitinous plating with it. But
makes those 4-2 Ultras, by the way, in case you were curious. And here comes round 2, although he's running right back up into these siege tanks on the high ground. He can't do that. And these Banshees are actually proving to be very annoying. Needs infestors, and it would not hurt him to put down a Spire at this point, too.
Yeah, he's got a couple infestors. Throwing down some infested Terrans, he could at least, sit his army there for a little bit, but actually he's got Fungal, he's got everything.
He could pop up and Fungal
could kill
those.
Them, yeah.
Huh, a little surprising. All right, well, in any case, 3 workers being produced at a time for Trimaster, who's very nearly mined out of his main and actually pretty low on his natural, too. And, of course, he's sitting down all those mules there, which stack on top of the existing SEVs, which means that you're just pulling even more resources from that.
Yep, and that natural is getting very, very low. 3-3 almost done here for Minato as well, with these additional Ultralisks on the way. We're pretty much going to have an unkillable army. I mean, drops would just, end the game, so...
Yeah.
In this situation, you do want to conserve energy, I guess. So just, kind of kick your feet up, research drops, wait for it to finish, and then go finish the game.
All right. Well, pathogen glands about, let's see, 30 seconds of the way done, so we can start building on some additional infestors here in a second. Big drop hitting up here towards the top, and maybe Trimaster will find a way to hold there in some capacity. It looks like a Banshee may have made its way up there, but I guess it was not long for this world.
And at this stage, Trimaster needs to get some damage in. He's going to try to with, of course, with these Banshees, but... he actually needs to get real damage in at this stage. What are we looking at? He's killed just 1 worker.
All right. Well, he's going to come back here in a second. So, and he ends up killing a few workers. Pretty nice. But now there's war crawlers there.
And he brings the army home somehow. For a second there.
Looks like, does he have a Baneling nest? I feel like just pushing forward with another 20 Banelings on top of this would actually end up working pretty well for him. If they were towards the back and let the Zerglings absorb the shots. Yeah, exactly. In any case, looks like he's staging up his attack, getting ready. Big drop coming in from Trimaster at the same time that this is happening. Will he be able to catch the dropship? He does. Medevac gets hit. Looks like this is actually going to be a hatchery killed here for Trimaster, and Minato's pulling completely back.
Yeah, really, really nice here. And, it may only be 1 medevac, but Kevin, I agree with you. That was a big drop. It was proportionally a large size of his army. Lifts up, saves a Marauder. A little bit late there, but... gets it done, and hey, Banshee's in position to do a little bit of damage.
Yeah, let's see if they start trying to pick away at the Ultralisks, or if they're just going to go after Zerglings here. It's a lot of Ultralisks on the map, though, and Fungal actually does pick up 1 of the Banshees. The second one does fly away.
Oh, and catches the medevac as well. Trimaster is catching up in supply, and now he's got Minato mining off 2 bases, which is definitely nice for him. He's making moves here.
Sure. I mean, well, yeah, definitely.
And he's got 2-2 done.
Yeah.
Just a second.
Minato definitely, needs to retake that base, though. At this point, Minato's still leagues ahead, and it seems like he's just not playing carelessly, but kind of a nonchalant manner right now. Very, I've got this game won. But we've seen players that have been
in a rush.
We've seen players that have been punished for that, though. They think they have the game won, then they, end up throwing everything away.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. So it looks like he's going to go for the Spire play and work his way to Greater Spire. Maybe just want to throw away some lings there.
There are 2 tanks that actually have 26 kills in the mix, which is pretty impressive. That one.
Sieging.
That one.
Oh, Infester's coming forward right now, and Trimaster looking like he wants to move out here.
Yeah, okay, well, there's a scan, and Fungal Growth does hit most of the Bioforces, and it looks like a second one is going to take the vast majority of those out. But that was a lot of stuff lost for Minato, and once again, he just ran his forces into a meat grinder, not trading cost effectively. Now, of course, he's got a 4.4k, 2k bank, and he's waiting for the Spire to finish, and then he can move into his... whatever he wants. I mean, that's not an issue, but still, a little careless.
Well, from here, though, I mean, it's going to be Greater Spire, and Trimester has nothing to deal with Broodlords at all. He doesn't have Thor, he doesn't have Vikings. Missile turrets will be outranged, and his Marine count is incredibly light, sitting at just 9. 6 Corruptors on the way right now. We will have the Broods here in just a minute. And it may be with their arrival that, I mean, it could just be game. But, hey, we'll see if Trimaster, gets a lucky scan and can work his way to some Vikings.
He's basically out of minerals, though. I mean, he's essentially got no income coming in because his main is almost totally mined out. He has 170 resources left there. And he needs to get this third base established down in the bottom left-hand corner.
Scantipede is so in the way right now. All right. Well, Banshee is just getting a couple of shots here. I mean, he needs to see this Greater Spire. If he doesn't see it, it's game over. Because he's gonna have, like, the thing is, there's also in the late stages of the game you can afford to miss a Greater Spire, but when you're sitting on like 2 bases like this, there's nowhere to fall back to. The Broodlords are going to arrive at your natural. What are you going to do? Fall back to your main? Your main's like 10 feet away, as evidenced by the siege tanks that have been camped there.
Yeah.
The whole game.
He's got a ton of... He needs to bring these SEVs down, and he's got a lot of energy built up. There we go. Finally dropping it on a few additional mules, so his income is going to receive a nice, at least temporary boost.
This is a much more difficult position to defend, and the only reason Trimaster can take this is thanks to the units that Minato did throw away. But now the Broodlords are on the way, and there's 7 of them. And things are just going to die so quickly for Trimaster, who has 11 Marines now. So he made 2 Marines, and he's making 2 more, so he's going to have 13.
Well, he's got a really nice mineral boost coming in at the moment. You can see his economy, because of 9 mules on the ground, is really, really pumped up for a second. But there's the Broodlords now. They've already picked off 1 tank. These tanks are unceremoniously dying one by one.
I wish, like, the Santa Claus story was he throwing presents like Broodlords throw Broodlings, he's delivering the presents right now, man.
But these are more like the Santa Claus from Futurama than the Santa Claus we know and love.
Please give the reference. I haven't seen that episode.
Oh, Santa Claus just kills things in Futurama. Anyway.
Kind of like the Weird Al Santa Claus?
Yes.
That he barbecued Blitzen, took a big bite, and it tastes just like chicken.
Yeah.
Slasher and Dancer with an old German Luger and slashed out Prancer just like Freddy Krueger.
There you go. That was a very impressive reference, I have to say. Here comes Minato, though. He's got way too many forces, and unfortunately, once again, Trimaster's being pushed back. He's down to 76 supply again, to just 26 workers. This base has actually not been assaulted. It looks like Minato's just kind of going for the kill right in the middle.
Yep. As we said, I mean, Broodlords arriving kind of ended it. Trimaster didn't even have the money to throw down starports behind this, so he's just making 2 Vikings at a time, and there it is. GG.
All right, so FXO EU takes game number 1 here in this best of 9. And, I mean, taking a look around the map, though, you look at this, and Minato just did not have that much going for it. It was really kind of a sloppy game on his part. He had lost this base here in the top right. He had actually lost another hatchery down in the bottom right-hand corner. And, you know, for being as far ahead as he was, that did not end up being the cleanest game, I think, that we've ever seen here at the IPTL. But nevertheless, he ends up winning, and FXO goes up 1-0 here in this best of 9. And so there we have it. Game number 1. I don't know, man. It just wasn't. It was kind of a sloppy game.
Well, Monado just didn't seem to care, man. He was like, look, like I could go Brood Lords, I could go for drops right now, but I'm just gonna have fun with this, and he did. So that ties up game number 1. Looks like compLexity is going to be bringing out their Canadian player now.
Yes.
Try to secure things for them, maybe get themselves a win here against Monado, guys. It's going to be another ZVZ. It's going to be Rise.
All right, so we're going to run to a commercial break. And when we get back, the map is going to be Metropolis for the ZVZ between compLexity and FXO.